You had what?
The 19th of July, Rabbi Furst, Parsha Hashavua with Rashi, Balak. Roy, I said my daughter had her surgery, her kidney surgery, and it's successful. She's doing well, thank God.
Oh man, oh man. Baruch Hashem. And to the parents too.
Thank you.
Yeah, refer to them when the children are.
Parents need it.
Yeah.
They're stressed out. It's a very stressful experience.
Oh well.
Yeah.
We've had
everyone should be
here, so we've helped them a good bit.
I'm sure, no doubt. Okay, everyone should have a full Shalem of Bakorov and a very good upcoming Shabbos. Okay. Fine. Again, this is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here at Shiva Samanafshi Yerushalayim Kerev Zoom. Our first and only shir this morning with me. That is Erev Shabbos, Parshas Balak, Shana Tavshin Pei Dalet. Okay, we're gonna jump around a little bit, take a few different some Rashis and Psukim Rashis. Let's start here. Let's start. Okay, the beginning of Parsha. That's in chapter Chaf Beis, chapter 22, Pasuk Hey. We'll start with that. We'll start with Pasuk Hey.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone like to do the reading a bit today?
Yeah, I've got it on. Poor Lou, he's still stressed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. I really appreciate the support.
All right, Ches, right?
Hey, Pasuk Hey.
Oh, Pasuk Hey.
Pasuk number 5.
Got it. Anyway, here we are. Vayishlach Malachim El Bilam Ben Ba'ar. How do you say that? Ba'ar.
Ben Ba'or. Basara.
Basara. Asher al Hanaha Eretz B'nai Amar Likra La Lama Hine Am Yotza Mimitzrayim Hine Kisa Es Ein Haaretz Tahu Yoshev Mimolin. And Hay goes to the Yishlach. Where is it? Oh, he sent messengers. Who was he?
Yes. Sent the messengers correctly.
Yeah,
right?
but who's a he? That was Balak, was it?
Yes, Balak was the king. As the previous psukim had said, Balak was the king of Moab at the time, right?
Yeah.
And so he was responsible for protecting his country, his nation, his people.
Yeah.
So he was wondering what to do. He sees all his defenses failing, the Og, Vesikon destroyed, and Klal Yisrael awaiting to enter to his borders. So what's he supposed to do?
Yeah. All right. So
Sort of a
messages, therefore, unto Bilam. To Bilam, because I've got a correction here. I've got written down Balaam, and then when we did this last time, some time ago, it was Bilam. So is that right?
I'm not sure. What was the correction that was made?
From Balaam to Bilam.
Mm-hmm. Right. Should be Bilam.
All right, because down here it's Balaam. The editors are wrong. Anyway, the son of Beor to Pesor, which is by the river of the land of the children of his people, to call him, saying, behold, there is a people come out from Egypt. Behold, they cover the face of the earth. Slight exaggeration. And they abide over against me. All right.
Let's take a go further. Now at the beginning of that, in the middle of that pasuk, what did it say? Let's analyze the pasuk. How many types of statements are there in this pasuk? This pasuk contains more than one statement. It's a compound verse.
He sent messengers, therefore, to Bilam. All right, that's
number one. That's number one.
And Bilam is identified, the son of Beor.
That's number two.
To Pethor, which is a city, I suppose, because it's by the river, identified as the name as being which is by the river of the land of the children of his people. What was that? That's three?
Yeah, okay, that was two, right?
People, and the children of his people, to call him, saying, to call him, I don't know, to call him, saying, behold, there is a people come out from Egypt.
Now this phrase, this is a phrase I want to emphasize. What was being said over here?
They're recognizing Bnei Israel as former slaves. And they're coming out from Egypt, and it seems to be that they came out straight away. And the moment doesn't seem like that there's a history between them coming out of Egypt and the time they came to the borders of Pesor.
Mm-hmm. Right, there's a 40-year interval, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know how much, but I knew it was something. All right.
Yeah, this is the end of the 40 years. This is when Klal Yisrael is approaching, entering into Eretz Canaan.
Mm-hmm.
This is at the end of the 40-year journey.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the relevance of that?
The relevance to what?
That he's saying that Am is Yotzi, the people have come out of Mitzrayim.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the relevance of that to what Balak is wanting to get through to Bilam? Balak is trying to send a message to Bilam.
Oh, right, okay.
So what's the relevance of that Klal Yisrael came out of Mitzrayim?
They've got a almost an immediate reputation for being that they can't be overcome. They've got an immediate reputation. It's like yeah. So and it's somewhat exaggerated as well, with the numbers covering the face of the earth. If they're covering the face of the earth, there'd be no room for all the other people. So if there's room for all the other people there, they must not be covering the face of the earth. Anyway, so
Right. So if I understand what you're saying a bit, the coming out of Mitzrayim, maybe this is what you were alluding to, that we know that historically no slave ever escaped Mitzrayim, right?
mhm.
That was a historical fact. And here you have a whole people that they've come out of Mitzrayim. Do you think that was what was being emphasized over here? Is that what you were alluding to, Lori?
No, no, it didn't even occur to me, but it's a good point, of course. But no, it's just the Bnei Yisrael was seen as a threat, an immediate threat, and it's like they just come out from. There's nothing. Yeah. It's Bnei Israel is seen as an immediate threat, and a people to be reckoned with and considered.
So what's but what's the relevance where they came from? They came from Borneo. If they came from Borneo? What's if they came from Borneo or Nome, Alaska? What's the difference?
Oh, I see. Okay, so in that case, what you said before that 3 million people or whatever escaped, whereas before not one escaped. It's 3 million times more powerful than so you got
So okay, so
that 3 million times.
Right. So that could be maybe why he's mentioning it. Now we're going to see this phrase mentioned at least two more times. For example, let's go to the pasuk. Go to pasuk Yud Aleph. No, actually, Ches. Let's go to pasuk Ches. We'll do 3 or 4 psukim here to get a running start. The 8th verse over there.
Okay. Yes. Yomer Elohim Lino Pe Ha'apa Halala Vahash Si Esechem Devo Asher Yidaver Hashem Eloi Vayushpo sorry Ma'av im belong eight and before that elders came to Balaam and spoke of him the words of Balak. And he said unto them, Lodge here this night, and I will bring you word again, as the Eternal shall speak unto me. And the officers of Moab abode with Balaam.
Very good. Let's take a look at the Rashis here for a moment.
All right. Let's Prophets to 9. To 8. Where's 8? And lodge here this night. The Holy Spirit rested upon him only at night time. This is on Balak, is it?
Bilam. This is about Bilam.
About Bilam.
Yeah, the Holy Spirit. That was Bilam was the prophet.
Right.
So Rashi is saying that Bilam, even though he was a prophet, excuse me, he only had the ability to have communication with the Kadosh Baruch Hu only at night.
So we lodge here this night. The Holy Spirit rested upon him only at night time, and similarly, the case of all the prophets of the heathen peoples, and similarly, he revealed himself to Laban in a dream at night, as it is said, and God came to Laban in the dream of the night, as a man who comes to his concubine furtively. And there's various references there. And I will give you an answer as the Lord shall speak to me. If he advises me to go with people such as you, I will go with you. But perhaps it is not compatible with his dignity to permit me to go except with princes greater than you. Hashavua. This is an expression for remaining. They remained with Balaam.
Right. So he wanted them to stay overnight. Rashi's explaining why did he have to have them stay overnight? Because the only way he would be able to have Hashem contact him would be at nighttime. So therefore, if they wanted to get an answer to their request, they'd have to wait till the next morning. Okay, let's continue on the next pasuk, the ninth pasuk.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
This is not on topic, so you can skip it if you want, but I've never understood this Rashi that says that like a man goes to his concubine. Is there something wrong with a concubine? Weren't two of the Imahos concubines?
No, they were shifkas. Shifkas, they were actually Yaakov was actually I think married to Bilhah and Zilpah. They were given as maidservants. Now, a concubine is more or less just a woman who is not legally married, but has a status of being associated with a certain man for the basically just for the sake of relations, right? But not really to have her as a full-fledged wife. So therefore, why is it that he's only going? Rashi mentions they only go to the concubine at night because that's what she's there for, right? She's not there to cook the food, to go take a stroll Shabbos afternoon. Right? The concubine is simply there for the physical needs that have to be relieved, and therefore it's done at night, and there's no other aspect to their relationship, right? That's why
What is this?
whether there's whether there's something wrong or not with it, that's another story. But kings had concubines. I think even Jewish kings had concubines. It was somewhat of an acceptable social relationship. We're not used to that too much these days, but that's why it was specifically at night, because the whole basis of the relationship was the fact that they would simply just have relations. That's all.
So what is this word behei chave, which it translates as furtively? What is that?
Which word is this again?
Behei chave in the Rashi.
Yeah.
What does that word mean? Is there a negative connotation to that?
Um, I still have not, I'm not sure where you're referring to.
Says Adam ha-holech etzel
Yeah.
pilat sho behei chavei.
Bechepa Ve. Right. So Bechepa Ve, um, that's, no, I'm not sure. I don't know. Bechepa Ve. How do they translate it? What do they translate it as being? I don't have my,
They say furtively,
how's that? What is that again?
furtively, Furtively.
Hmm. You know what that word means?
I think it has a connotation of shame, that he's going in secret because he's ashamed.
Yeah, I think it's more like clandestine. That yeah, it's like again, the concubine was there for one purpose only. The man had a physical desire. He wanted to relieve his physical desire, right? So he used his concubine to help him relieve his physical desire, right? Likewise, just like a person, you know, he needs to relieve himself. So he doesn't make an announcement that he's going to relieve himself. It's something, it's we all have those functions, but there's nothing to be proud about it, right?
I see.
Unless you're a 3-year-old.
Excuse me?
Unless you're a 3-year-old.
Oh, 3-year-olds. Yeah, they're very proud of it.
All right.
Does that help you understand it a little bit better?
A little bit better, yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like clandestine. It's something which is not even a wife, even a wife and a husband. It's the halacha is you're not supposed to make it known that they're having a relationship, right? It's not even chassan the kala, like the Chazal say, everybody knows they're under the chuppah. Everybody knows what's going on, what's going to be. But you don't speak about it. You don't make you don't make any comments about what it is. You understand that this is part of life. This is what Hashem wants, and created people that there should be a fully populated world. Hashem's very interested in this world being populated with human beings and also other creatures as well, right? But it's nothing that you draw attention to, right? You don't draw attention to it. So here, the concubine, whose whole purpose, the whole relationship. I mean, if a person would go to it, he's a person. He says, "I'm going to visit my concubine." So everybody knows exactly what he's intending to do. It's not going to sit down and have tea and play checkers or jigsaw puzzles with her. That's not what she's there for, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But it's
So
mistress. It's not something that he's cheating on his wife.
yeah, no, not necessarily. In the
Not in those days.
it was somewhat of a formal or semi-formal relationship that they had. I mean, it was known. It was known, but you don't make mention of it because it's what the person says he's going to have lunch, so you know what he's going to do. He says he's going to go visit his concubine, so you know what he's going to do, right? So it's something which you don't draw attention to.
Right.
You want to keep it
Okay.
private. You want to keep it apart from the rest of your relationships.
Right. Right. So the question is, how does how does that fit in with the Kadosh Baruch Hu's coming to Bilam? Why is Rashi using such a physically based um, analogy to describe the way that Kadosh Baruch Hu was, so to speak, approaching Bilam and
Right.
other prophets of the non-Jew? That needs to be understood a little bit.
Was he bribing them at all? No, I don't know. I think the Bill to
Yeah, I have a footnote here actually that says, a man generally takes a concubine unwillingly due to the pressure of his lust. He therefore maintains contact with her furtively. Similarly, God granted prophecy to Bilam only because of the pressure, lest the non-Jewish nations accuse him of being unfair, as Rashi has stated in his comments on verse 5 above.
Okay, I follow that. If that makes sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes well, pressure, the word pressure is in quotes. So yeah, it makes sense that you could say kiviyachol that Hashem is under pressure.
Right. Okay. I hear. That's good.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate the kind of the digression.
No problem. Okay, fine. Okay. Now, so that brings us to verse number 9 and 10 and 11.
Number
You could read pasuk number 9, Roy.
Veyovo Elohim El Bilam Veyomer me Ha'anashim Ha'ale Imach. And Hashem came to Bilam and said, "Who are these men with thee?" Yomer Bilam El Elohim Balak and Tzipor Melech Moav Shelach Elah. And Bilam said to Hashem, Balak, the son of Tipper, king of Moab, has sent unto me, saying, now 11, Pasuk 11, Ine ha'am hayotze mitzrayim v'yacham v'yachas es ein ha'aretz atah l'kev kavach li. Atah olay ochel l'hilochem lo v'garashtiv. Bilam said to God, Balak, the son of Tipper, King Moab, has sent unto me, saying, Behold, there is a people come out of Egypt, and it covereth the face of the earth. Come now, imprecate me them, peradventure I shall be able to fight with them and drive them out.
Oh, so here again, this expression, Bilam here speaking to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, he was relating more or less exactly the message he got from Balak. And he mentions there's people coming out of Mitzrayim, right? And okay. So we'll now go. Want to look what it says over here in this passage. We're going to go chapter ahead. 1 second. I'll tell you where to look. Um, oh, take a look here in chapter Chav Daled, chapter 24. Let's start with Pasuk Hey, chapter 24, the 5th verse. Very familiar verse. You know this. You say this probably every day.
Want me to say it or sing it?
Sing it.
Ma tovu olecha Yaakov mishkenosecha Yisrael.
Mhm.
All right.
Take a look at Rashi here.
How goodly are your tents, Jacob, Yaakov, and thy dwelling, O Israel. Goodly are thy tents, Yaakov, and the dwellings, Israel. Interesting. Rashi
What's interesting?
says, when I find Rashi, it's 3, 4, 6. How goodly are thy tents. He said this because he saw that the entrances of their tents were not exactly facing each other. Compare that with verse 2. Mishkenosecha means thy encampments, as the Targum has it. Another explanation, Alecha, ma tovu Alecha, how goodly are thy tents, how goodly are the tents of Shiloh and the temple, when these flourished, in that sacrifices were offered therein to atone for you. Mishkenosecha, how goodly are excuse me, how goodly are they, even when they are in ruins, because then they are a pledge, Mishkan, for you.
Now, even Pishem Bechum, this is a very, this is a, this is even very, what is even when they're destroyed? What's that exactly mean?
Maybe even when they just destroyed the idea of them, the physical idea of them, the physical laws that embrace them are good. even without the actual tent itself, just, you know, just the ideas that the tents bring about.
Oh, so Rashi's going to clarify a little bit what you're saying. Look at the Rashi here. Look what Rashi says. Very important Rashi.
Sort of a whole lot of stuff all over the place. 4, 5. How good are thy tents? He said this because he saw that the entrances of their tents were not exactly facing each other. Meantime, encampments and Jehoshaphat had no experience. How good are thy tents? How good are the tents? How goodly are the tent of Shiloh and the temple when these flourished in and in that sacrifices were offered therein to atone for you. For you. Mishkan Asecho, how goodly are they, even when they are in ruins, because then they are a pledge. Mishkan, is that a pledge also? Also a word pledge. They're a pledge for you. And the fact that they are in ruins is an atonement for your souls, as it is said in Lamentations. The Lord has brought his fury to an end. And by what means has he brought it to an end? He has kindled a fire in Sion. He has destroyed the temple.
Right, the destruction, as we say many times, the destruction of the base of Migdash was better for us than that the Kadosh Baruch Hu took his wrath, so to speak, out on stones and wood rather than on flesh and blood. Even though we did suffer quite a lot with the Korban, both Korbanos, but nevertheless we weren't destroyed. If something had to go, it was better that the base of Migdash, by its Rishon went, by its Sheni went, better that the base of Migdash, the dwelling place, so to speak, of HaKadosh Baruch Hu here in this world, it's better that destruction took place than Has V'Sholem, anything happening to Klal Yisrael. Right, so that's what Rashi's alluding to over here. Okay, let's go to the next pasuk.
5, 6. Oh, no, we've done 6? No. Right, 6.
6, yeah, 6.
Kin cholim, Matoy, a big knot, Alay Naha, Kaholim, Na'a, Hashem, Ka'arzim, Alay Mayim. As the brooks that wind, as the gardens beside the river, as the trees of linear allies, which I don't know what sort of trees they are, which the Eternal hath planted, and as a cedar beside the waters. Yisrael, Mayim, Midolayah, V'Zara, V'Mayim, Rabim, V'Yiram, Mageg, Malakah, V'Sinasei, Malachuso. As the brooks that wind, as the brooks that wind, as gardens beside the river, as trees of line aloes, which the Eternal has planted, and as the cedar trees beside the waters. Water shall flow out of his buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters, and his king shall be more exalted than Agag, and his kingdom shall be elevated.
It's very good. Very good.
And
Okay. Next, well, that will bring us to the next puzzle, the eighth verse. This is what we want to concentrate on here.
Hail Motzio Mimitzrayim Kasafos Im Lo Yochal Goyim Tzarov V'yatza Mosehem Gorem V'chitzov Yim Hot. So the kingdom shall be more elevated than Agag, and his kingdom shall be elevated. Right. 8. The God that brought him out of Egypt is to him the strength of a buffalo. He shall eat up the nations. His adversaries shall crush their bones and pierce them through with his arrows.
Okay, so very good. So this first, the beginning of this pasuk, the first phrase, you see how things have changed here now, right? What is being said here? It says, okay, let's look at the Rashi. We'll start with Rashi. That would be a good start. Rashi, the beginning of his explanation of the eighth verse here.
Right. Right. Here we go. El Motzio Mitzrayim, God who brought them out from Egypt, out of Egypt. God who brought them out.
So now that's that. Okay, so Rashi, go ahead with Rashi.
Who was the cause of all this greatness? God who brought them out from Egypt by his strength and his sublimity. He eats up Yachal, the nations, Goyim, who are Tziriv, who are his adversaries, the Atzamosom, and their bones, those of the adversaries. Yigrom. Menachem ben Seruk explained it in the sense of breaking the pieces. Similarly, in Zephaniah, who have not broken to pieces in the morning, and similar to Ezra or Ezekiel, I don't know, and thou shalt crunch Togorami, thou shalt crunch the shards thereof. I, however, say that it has the meaning of bone, Goram, in Aramaic, corresponding to Hebrew atzam. It means that one pulls away the flesh with his teeth from around the bone and the marrow from inside, and brings the bone to its original bare condition, that is, as it was before flesh grew upon it, and pierce them through with his arrows. Onkelos translates this as meaning the chatzim of the adversaries, taking it in the sense of their portion of the land. Similar to Genesis, Vale Chatzim, which he translated by Palgusa, those who part, who differ from him. So that too, according to the Targum, Yimchat denotes dividing, having the same meaning as in Judges. She divided Mechatza and struck through his temples.
Right, that word Yachas, right? Yeah. that we on Pesach, right? We yachatz, we break the matzah. That's when we break the matzah, called yachatz, right?
Mhm, mhm. The meaning, therefore, is that they will divide amongst themselves their adversaries' land. Hence, the translation of Onkelos, they shall take possession of their land. But it can only be explained as meaning chatzim, literally the arrows, the arrows. That is, the arrows of the Holy One, blessed be He. He will yimchatz in the blood of the adversary. That is, he will dip and thus dye the arrows in their blood. Similar is in Tehillim 100 and I don't know, 48, or something in there. Similarly in Tehillim, in order that thou mayest colour thy foot come by blood. However, even in the sense that it does not lose the usual meaning of wounding, as in Deuteronomy, I wound, see, for what is dyed by blood looks as though it were wounded and stricken.
So the first phrase that's mentioned here, this is the big change that took place from the two previous statements we had. Right? If you remember, how was it described when Balak sent his messengers to Bilam, and when Bilam related what the messengers said to him, right? The phrase was not that Kel Motzi Mitzrayim, not that a Kadosh Baruch who took them from Mitzrayim. It said, Yotzei Mitzrayim. The people came out of Mitzrayim. The people came out of Mitzrayim. That, as we said earlier, that perhaps the reason why this is being mentioned by Balak, this is Balak's phraseology, right? That he, as we said, what's relevant to know where the people are coming from? So he was trying to, I think, impress Bilam with the seriousness of the situation, that no one ever escaped from Mitzrayim. And here these people have come, a whole people have come out of Mitzrayim, when previously not even one slave was reputed to have ever escaped from Mitzrayim. And here this whole people have come out of Mitzrayim. So that's the way he saw it, right? But here, this pasuk that we're dealing with now, pasuk Ches, in the chapter Chavdalad 24, is what Bilam through Ruach HaKodesh prophecy is telling from the perspective of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's perspective, the divine perspective of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that the truth is not that an Am came out of Mitzrayim. That's how the newspapers would write about it, right? People came out of Mitzrayim. Very nice, nothing really to talk about. It's very special. There was never, not even one slave ever escaped from Mitzrayim. And here we have a whole people coming out of Mitzrayim. Well, they came out of Mitzrayim. What do you mean they came out of Mitzrayim? It's a absolutely tremendously earth-shattering event. So here Bilam is saying it from the perspective of truth. Keil, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Almighty, Motzi'oi mi Mitzrayim. The Almighty, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, took them out of Mitzrayim. They didn't come out on their own. They didn't escape like slaves. They didn't run out of Egypt like thieves. No, Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. Hashem took the Jewish people out of Mitzrayim. Forever we have to remember that. That we owe our national existence and our personal lives to the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had Rahmanas on us and took us out of Mitzrayim. And that's the truth. And that's what Bilam is saying over here to Balak. This is the truth. Not like you said, Am Yotzi Mitzrayim, and people came out of Mitzrayim. What are you, some kind of a newspaper reporter that's an atheist? Don't mention a word about God in your own paper, right? No. When we talk about Mitzrayim, we have to understand and we have to give that credit to Kadosh Baruch Hu, that he was the one who took us out of Mitzrayim. Otherwise, we'd still be, as we mentioned in the Haggadah of Pesach. If Hashem didn't take us out of Mitzrayim, he would still be there to this very day. Ourselves and our sons and our sons' sons, we'd all be there in Mitzrayim to this very day. It's only through the mercy and kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that he had Rachmanis upon us, and therefore he took out his right, and that's the real truth. So yeah, that's what Bilam was telling Balak here, that don't make any mistakes. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu took these Jews out of the Mitzrayim. That's something we can therefore remember. That's all the mitzvahs we have. Zeichel Etzias Mitzrayim. Shabbos at night we say Kiddush Zeichel Etzias Mitzrayim. We say Tefillin is Zeichel Etzias Mitzrayim. Tzitzis is Zeichel Etzias Mitzrayim. Many mitzvahs are Zeichel Etzias Mitzrayim. As the Mashar says, and we'll stop with this last point, as the Mashar says that the foundation, the significance of the mitzvahs of the Zeichel Etzias Mitzrayim, remembering that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, the significance of that is, as Moshe explains, that when a person is in a situation, a status of nobility, of godless, of greatness, of stature, he should always remember that he wasn't always in this situation, and he was put into this situation through the grace of God, and therefore he should thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So all the mitzvahs are Zeichel Etzias Mitzrayim. Remember, Shabbos is Zeichel Etzias Mitzrayim. A slave doesn't have Shabbos. We were taken out of Mitzrayim by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he gave us Shabbos, a day of rest. A slave doesn't have a day of rest. Tzitzis, right, the garment, the uniform of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Person who's a citizen doesn't have a uniform. He wears civilian clothes, right? But a person who's loyal, trusted member of the king's entourage, he has a special uniform, right? So tzitzis, special uniform. We're ennobled by the fact we have these garments of tzitzis, tefillin. And so if we remember that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was the one who gave us these distinctions and unique, noble status amongst the rest of the world, that we remember that's through the grace of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we should remember that we didn't always have that status. This is something that Hashem is giving us through our being taken out of this, right? And therefore we should be very grateful to Him for that. Okay, Mitzvah Hashem. I want to thank you, Lou. Thank you, Roy.
Thank you very
You
much.
both have a wonderful Erev Shabbos. And I guess we'll be working, see you beginning next week. I'm working on a new document that we'll be starting to learn for next week, Mitzvah Hashem. I'll send it out either today or in the beginning of the week, Mitzvah Hashem. And in the meantime, should have a wonderful Shabbos, and hope to see you next week.
Well,
You too, Rabbi, and you too also, Lou, and especially your daughter. So,
thank you very much, Roy. Appreciate that. And thank you, Rabbi.
right.
Okay, thank you both.
Bye for now.
Okay, be well. Shalom, bye.